right, YouTube is up. Let's get back over here. Facebook is up. All right, let's add a little bit of light. See you later, Piggy. How's that? Pretty good, pretty good. So they said it was supposed to be like 99 degrees today. So I'm going to leave the curtains closed. I went on actually early. I thought for sure it was going to be late. So today we might be a little short. So if you're practicing with me and you maybe want to take a little bit longer shavasana or a little bit longer final twist, you've got that option. I've got an appointment that I need to make sure I get to, so I'll leave a little bit early. So I'm still working on the 4-week beginner series. I'm contemplating maybe leaving that until January. But the thought is turning around in my head. So you may see that earlier. But again, if you do know somebody that would be interested in that, definitely shoot them my way. And I'm also probably after Labor Day weekend going to do another 5-day 15-minute challenge. So if your practice is perfect every day, you have a nice habit, then you can ignore it or join us just for fun. But if you feel like you need to jumpstart a new habit or a new routine, then definitely watch for that to pop up. Like I say, I think I'm going to do it the week after Labor Day. 2 weeks, something. I don't know. So yeah, that's what's going on, and I'm still early. Unheard of. Remember when you're practicing, whenever you're practicing, wherever you're practicing, to make sure that it's yours, right? And when you're a beginner, you don't really know. You don't know, right? One of my first yoga classes, the instructor at the end just said, "All right, now, do whatever feels good." And I went, "What? What does that even mean?" But that's basically what you want to do, right? If a pose just isn't feeling right that particular moment, adjust it or move on. Try something different. Always make sure that what you're doing is right for your body at this moment. Just because it happened yesterday doesn't mean it's going to happen today, right? Or just because it didn't happen yesterday just doesn't mean it won't today. On the reverse of that. So just kind of keep these things in mind as you practice. Don't worry about competing with yourself even, right? It just is what it is today. Yeah? So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the mat. We are going to be starting seated. But again, balancing is kind of the direction that we're going today. So remember, you can do that in lots of places. And one of the most important things in balancing, and it doesn't seem like it would be, is to engage your core. So whether you are standing, you're seated, you can balance seated, right? So wherever your body is in space, engaging the core brings stability, right? Engaging into your foundation, right? And engaging your core will bring you stability. Doesn't mean you won't fall over. Doesn't mean you won't wobble. It just makes it better. So let's align the heels to the groin here. And make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. Again, if you ever need a bolster or a blanket or a block or whatever, just making sure that the pelvis is upright. So start here like we always do, right? lifting the pelvic floor, bringing the lower belly in and up, and sitting tall through the sides. Go ahead and relax into your hips and shoulders as much as you can. If you feel like you need to hang on, that's fine. Just try not to tense up here. Closing your eyes, bring your ears over your shoulders, feeling that nice release for your neck. And just draw in, right? Noticing what's going on in your body right at this moment. Breathing all through the nose, begin to expand into your breath. Eventually coming to that nice full yoga breath. And staying connected to that breath. So especially when things get a little challenging, come back to it. See if you're still breathing this breath. Let's begin to add in movement here. So we'll extend the arms, inhaling as we stretch up. Exhaling back down. We'll do that again. Let's go once more. Coming back to the top. Inhale. Exhale the right hand back to the mat and give yourself a little tip to that side. So keeping the pelvis glued to the floor, extending tall through the crown of your head. And then with the next inhale, bring yourself back to the middle. Exhale over to the left. Big full breath here, keeping your foundation in length. And then coming back up, inhale. Once more over to the right. Find a little bit deeper stretch or maybe change something about it. Maybe we just draw that left shoulder back a little bit. With the inhale, making your way back up to the top again. And then the last time, exhaling over to the left. Inhaling, lift back to center. And exhale, release. So let's take that right hand over to the left knee, the left hand behind the back, gentle little twist over to the left here. Keeping your foundation solid and tons of length in your spine. Just kind of feeling where the twist naturally happens. And then maybe where you want it to happen a little more. And again, just noticing these things. If it happens for you, lovely. And if it doesn't, you're just at least more aware. Let's release, rotating back to the middle and taking the second side. Same idea, this just kind of exploratory twist to begin. And then releasing that back to center. Let's go back to the first side. So setting up the same, really give yourself a nice little support behind your back and then rotating around. See if you can make it a little bit more even. Maybe the twist is deeper. Maybe it's just more comfortable this time. Big breaths. And then unwinding again back to center, over to your second side. Same idea. See where this one goes. Let's release that. Come on back to the middle again. We're going to take the fingers and interlace them behind the lower back. Pulling the shoulders together on the back, go ahead and stretch your knuckles toward the floor. And then maybe begin to hinge forward. So think belly button to heels. Your hands can stay on your back or lift away a little bit. Just keep the idea of stretching away from the shoulders. Nice and long here. Big full breaths. Gently with an inhale here, go ahead and hinge back up. Before you release your fingers, think about which thumb you have on top back there. So then releasing the hands, we're going to switch what we put in front. And occasionally maybe do that anyway. So if you always have your left foot in front, switch it up to the right or vice versa. So then we're going to release the fingers with the other thumb on top. Again, something maybe think about doing, when there's something that's very automatic to you, think about doing it with the other hand, or you get the idea, right? Just play and be a little experimental. So pulling the shoulder blades together here, stretching the knuckles away. And again, maybe hinging, right? Listening to your body. What do you need this morning? We're going to take one more breath. And with the next inhale, bring yourself back up to the top again. Go ahead and release your fingers. And we're going to stretch those legs out nice and long here. If you are propped on something, just watch that the knees don't hyperextend. Maybe come down if that's helpful. So the legs are straight, the feet are flexed, toes pointing up at the ceiling. We're sitting up tall on the pelvis. And again, you can always adjust your seat if you feel less than balanced, right? Keeping the belly engaged, let's go ahead and reach the arms up and begin to hinge forward from the hip. When you can't hinge forward, let your hands fall. So maybe you touch your toes and maybe you do not touch your toes. Don't worry about that. Find sensation in the backs of your legs. You're going to feel that in your glutes, of course. Maybe up into your lower back, depending on where you're tight and what you did last week. Sometimes it's just a situational thing, right? Just allow your stretch to develop. And then on the next inhale, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back up again, keeping the shoulders together on the back. Release the arms. Let's make our way over onto all fours. Taking our time getting there. Okay. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, finding foundation on the hands, still engaging through the belly. With the breath here, on an inhale, go ahead and drop the belly toward the floor. With the exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling. And then just with the breath in and out like that. See if you can engage your entire spine. Let's take one more flow. And then find a middle. So nice neutral spine here, belly's in, shoulders are neutral on your back. Go ahead and take your hands forward or your knees back, or maybe both. Coming to kneeling plank. Just holding here. Staying engaged through the four corners of the hands. If you want, you can stay on the knees or lift into a full plank. And again, just hold, nothing fancy. Feeling the entire body engaged to hold you here. And then from our plank, we'll go ahead and lift the hips, making our way toward down dog. And then just moving and stretching. Get into those shoulders, maybe moving through the hips a little bit. And then finding our neutral position here. So again, nice and even on the hands, pressing the chest back toward the thighs. Let your head just hang between your arms. The heels are reaching for the floor, whether they meet the floor or not. And then keep everything you have set here. Make sure the belly's working for you. We're going to lift the right leg. Don't worry about high. Keeping the hips square. Stretch through your heels. And then slide forward. We're going to hold in our three-legged plank. You can absolutely drop the left knee. Take another big breath. And then back to your three-legged dog. Release the right foot. So switching to the second side, same exact idea. Lifting the left. Press through the heels. Standing up. And then we'll shift forward, three-legged plank. Again, make adjustments if you need. Make sure your belly's working, you're breathing. And then we're making our way back to three-legged dog. Releasing the left foot. And we'll drop on down, taking a child's pose. So make this as comfortable as you can. Opening the knees if you like, popping your forehead, taking the hands back. We're going to make our way back to down dog. From here, walking the feet forward, toes to fingers. Coming to our standing fold. So it looks a lot like when we were seated, right? And we extended the legs. Feet up underneath the hip bones. The toes are pointing forward. You can walk in place if you want a little bit more, just a little bit more mobility there right now. And if you need to, leave the knees bent. We're going to take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around the big toes, staying even on the four corners of the feet. Yeah? If you can take your legs straight, go ahead. Bending your elbows out to the sides if you like, maybe pulling on your toes. Find the stretch, whatever that looks like right now. And then release the toes. Bend the knees here again if you need, and take the backs of your hands flat to the floor. So if you bent them to grab your toes, you're probably going to need to bend them here. So even if you have to leave your knees bent, see if you can get all the way to the wrist flat. Right? And if it's uncomfortable, don't put pressure on it. Right? If that's still uncomfortable with no pressure, then don't do that. Right? But see if you can get them all the way flat. And then take your hand and slide it underneath your foot with your toes at your wrist crease. Okay? And you can massage your hands by kind of gripping your toes, right? Wiggling your toes. But if you can take your legs straight, of course, go ahead. If you can bend your elbows, give that a go. Finding just a little bit deeper stretch. Thinking about your foundation here. Where is it? Where are you feeling it? Or is it pretty even? Maybe pick up your right foot, your right heel. And go ahead and release that. Pick up your left heel. And then release that. If you are feeling particularly brave,
please be careful with this. Please listen to your body. Can you pick up your right foot, your right heel? How about your left one at the same time? Just something to goof around with. So go ahead and release your hands. We're going to slide the hands up to the thighs and lift halfway up parallel to the floor. So the shoulders are back, the belly's in. In a perfect world, perfect world, the upper body is parallel to the floor. If you need to be leaning with your hands on your thighs, please do. Shoulders back, the belly working right. Support your lower back, always, always. You can extend the arms down by your sides, take them out to the sides off your shoulders, or even come forward, arms in line with the ears here. We're going to take one more breath here. And then bend into the knees and make your way toward chair. So again, the hands can be wherever you want the hands to be. So feeling again here, even on the foundation. Right? The belly's working to support here as well. See about coming up on your toes. See if you can stay on your toes. Stretch to the ceiling. And then release your arms and your heels. So maybe that was crazy wobbly, but it's always a little bit of fun, right? So up at the top of the mat then, working into our sun salutes, remember to take your time, listen to your body, and follow your breath. Yeah? We're going to inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale ourselves into fold. Inhale, come halfway up. And then exhale, step yourself back to plank. Knees, if you'd like, down to the belly, everything to the floor together. Hands by the side ribs, and just a nice little shoulder roll. Elbows in. Releasing that, everything up off the floor together, back to down dog. Inhaling, step forward, fold. Next inhale brings us halfway up. Fold it back over again. And then reach up for our standing, releasing the arms. Same idea, bump it up. Take the extra breath here or there, whatever you need. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, back to plank. Dropping down. Rolling into cobra. And back to down. Inhale, step forward. Next inhale, halfway up. Folding again. Reaching for the ceiling. Releasing the arms. So as we've been doing, one more just like that, but I'm going to shut my mouth and you're going to do your thing. Right? So follow your breath, modify if you need. Okay? And let's go. So inhale, lift the arms. And you're on your own. Good. All right. So we're going to add on, right? Take an extra breath if you need. Take another pose if that's where you're at. Skip something if you're over it. Right? So let's inhale, sit into chair. And then exhale over into the fold. Halfway up. Back to our plank again. Dropping down. Rolling into cobra. Take a deep breath if you're ready for that. Back to down dog. Right foot steps forward into lunge. Heel or knee to the mat in the back. You lift the upper body, reaching the arms. Exhale, come on back down to lunge and down dog. Forward for plank. Down to the belly. Into cobra. Back to down dog. And then the left foot steps forward and down. Heel or knee to the mat, lifting. Exhale, back down. Into down dog. Forward for plank. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Back to down dog. And hold down dog. Or drop into child's pose. Find your breath. And mostly if you're still in down dog, find your foundation, your belly engaged. Relax a little bit deeper in the child's pose, of course. Taking one more breath where you are. Lifting back to down dog if you did drop down. And with the next inhale, step the feet forward, coming back to the fold. Halfway up. Back to fold. And then inhaling chair. Exhale, release. Right. So we're going to take a standing balance here. Super simple. Right? Doesn't mean easy, it just means not complicated. So let's take the weight over to the left foot. We're just going to lift the right knee, open to the side. So you'll notice when the hips start getting wonky, that's too far. Keep the pelvis as even as you can and bring the right foot to the inside of the left leg. So maybe your toes on the floor, you can get the calf or the inner thigh. Avoid pressing on your knee. So we're going to press the leg into the foot and the foot back into the leg. Foundation is the four corners of that left foot, nice and even. And yes, of course, you're going to wobble. The belly is working. The hands maybe from the center. You can absolutely extend them. Keep the hands together or open. So big full breaths here. And embrace the wobble. We all do it. Try not to let the mind freak out about it. Steady and strong, even as you wobble. Take another big breath. And then bring it in. And release it all. All right, so let's go second side. Same idea. All the way over to the right. Lifting the left and opening. Find where the pelvis can stay even and then bring the left foot in. Finding together. Standing nice and tall. And then taking the hands, of course, wherever you want to take them. One more breath here. Bring it on in. Amazing. We'll work with that again, maybe going a little bit deeper. But for now, back to the top of the mat, we're going to take a nice big step back with the left foot. So right toes are pointing forward, left toes are cut in. We're moving into warrior two, so we'll bend this right knee. Look for the big toe. Even on the four corners, the pelvis is level to the floor. So if you find that hip kicks up a little bit, put it back down. Extending the arms parallel to the floor as well. Looking over the right fingertips here. Strong and steady. We're going to take the right leg straight, reaching forward of the toes and hinging over for triangle. Hang on if you need to hang on. Let that right arm dangle if you don't. The belly's in, spine is tall, hips, ankles, and shoulders in the same plane. You find your butt sticking way out back there. We got one more breath here. And with the next inhale, we're going to hinge back up. Release the arms, straddle out your feet, and we'll move to our second side. So turn the right toes in a little bit and the left toes toward the back of your mat. When you feel stable enough for it, go ahead and bend into the left knee. Looking for the big toe, so you're stacking your knee and ankle. Hips and shoulders are parallel to the floor, and then the arms are as well. Left leg straight. Reaching forward of the toes and hinging into our triangle work here. Hinging. Make your way back up to the top. Release the arms and straddle. So here, instead of having your toes point forward like we would in a normal straddle, go ahead and turn them out to the corners a little bit. And we can make adjustments as we go. So that's just a place to start. Bend the knees and see if you can see your big toes outside of your knees. So we don't want the toes in and the knees out. It's usually the other way around, knees in and toes out. But check it out, see what's going on. Sink in there as low as you can. And then bring the palms together. Pressing down into the floor. Press down or press the hands into each other. See if you can feel the same pressure in your palms as you have in your feet. Not really. Let's sink in there just a little deeper. And then take the legs straight, hinge forward, folding, bring your toes forward. So taking your arms straight down to the floor. Right? So that might not be the deepest fold you have. Right? Not really the point of it. But stay nice and even on the four corners of your feet here. We're going to bring the right hand underneath the face. Left hand to the hip and add in a little twist here. So keeping the pelvis level, keeping the feet even into the floor, the knees, if they're bent, if they're evenly bent. Ideally they're straight, but you know, it is. Big full breath. And then release the twist and switch sides so the left hand comes in the center and the right hand comes to the hip. A little twist. Again, thinking more about your foundation and your belly than worrying about how deep that twist is. Let's release it. Turn the toes back out. Bend back into your knees and hinge back up where we started. Can you go deeper? Keeping the chest lifted, take one more breath. And then stretch it up. Release the arms. And step to the top of the mat if you're not already there. So we're going to take that tree position again and maybe change it up a little bit.
So off your mat if you need, near the wall, as always. Check in. Am I good? So let's go ahead and take all the weight to the left again, lifting the right leg, opening the knee. And again, it can be as simple as it was before. But maybe this time, keep this right foot flexed and bring your right ankle bone above and just to the outside of your left knee. So it's like a figure four idea. Yeah. Hug the legs together like crazy. Again, one more reason you don't want to be on your knee. So whether the foot is on the inside of the leg or in front of it, you're pulling together. Belly's in, we're nice and tall. Palms can come together. You can extend, of course. If you are in tree, you're going to stay upright. Otherwise, maybe bend into this left knee a little bit and sit. Maybe chair idea. What's going on in that left foot? Take another big breath. Stretch back to the ceiling. And then release it all. So same idea, second side. See what happens over here. We're not always perfectly symmetrical. Maybe you have an injury on one side or the other. See what happens. All the way to the right. Lift the left, open at the knee, and again, decide where this left foot goes. Maybe it's flexed and comes in front of and above the right leg here. Right knee. Plug in. The tailbone, take the arms where you want to take your arms. If you're in tree, stay standing tall, otherwise maybe bend into the right knee. And then that left foot kind of has some place to lean. Gravity helps. Especially if you're wobbling, what's your brain doing? What are the thoughts that are coming up in this crazy position? On the inhale, we're coming back up to the top. And then release it all. So back to the top of your mat. Let's reach the arms up. Go ahead and take yourself over into a fold. And we'll slip ourselves back to down dog. So we'll work toward pigeon, bringing the left knee right behind the left wrist. Drop the right knee to the floor, stretch that leg long behind you here. Keeping the pelvis level, you don't want to feel like you're rocking to one side or the other. You can open your left knee to the left. Maybe take your left foot towards your right hand, wiggle it around in there. Finding the stretch at the same time as we're keeping our pelvis level and our spine nice and tall here. You can stay up on your hands, or you can drop down to your forearms, or all the way down, forehead to the mat. If you did drop down, let's go ahead and lift back up to the hands. And we're going to make our way back to down dog. Give yourself a little wiggle if you feel like you need to. And we're going to switch sides then, so bringing the right knee up behind the right wrist. Stretch the left leg long, that knee rests on the floor. Deciding whether the right knee stays up behind the wrist, maybe it opens to the side, and the left toes come forward. Just kind of see what's going on there. May or may not be the same as the other side. Go with it. Staying level and balanced, up on the hands if that's better. Dropping down to the forearms if you need. Hello. Take one more breath over on this side. And then back up to the hands again. Nice and easy here. Make your way back to down dog. Legal, stretch, whatever you gotta do on this side here. And then from there, walk your hands back to your feet. Your brain something different. Let's take a little bend in the knees. We're gonna roll up to standing again. And we're gonna take that same tree pose and maybe bump it up again. It's hard to sometimes get into more complicated positions because by the time you get there, right, maybe your body's a little tired, or maybe you need this little stretch before getting a little deeper. And so you have to come in and out of things sometimes. So again, just see what happens. So one more time, we're taking the weight to the left, lifting the right knee, opening. If the foot needs to be on the inside for playing on the tree again, that's where you're working. Lovely. You want to give the figure 4 a go. Hug together wherever you are. Decide if you want to stand tall. You can absolutely bend into the knee. This time, maybe. See about hinging forward, bringing your right elbow to your right knee and your left elbow maybe toward your your right ankle. You can stay here. You reach forward. And you maybe take your left leg straight. We're going to take one more breath wherever we are. Gently make your way back up again. And then release it all. Sometimes it's wobbly. So, same idea on the second toe. So, all your weight right. Lift the left, open the knee, and find where the foot goes. Take your time. You can always change your mind, adding or subtracting. Hug together, stand tall, the arms go where the arms go. Bending into the right knee, if that's you here. Hinging forward, elbow to knee, elbow to ankle, maybe. And if you like, taking the right leg straight, touching the floor. We're going to make our way back up. Take your time out, just like we did in. Because sometimes momentum is not your friend. Okay. So wherever that went, hopefully you got a nice little stretch and some practice with your balance. Let's stretch the arms up. Take yourself over to fold. Stepping back to down dog. And then we'll drop on down into a child's pose. Just gonna reset your body, or rest your body, reset your brain. Let's go ahead and slide on onto the belly. And we roll over onto the back. So wiggling yourself back into this position,
on your mat. Find a nice foundation here, right? So your shoulders are evenly pressing down. You've got the neutral curves in your spine. Your pelvis is even and level. And if the knees need to stay bent, they do. If you want to extend them long, the legs long, go ahead and do that. And just feel the foundation of your body on the floor. We're going to keep that idea. If your legs are not already bent, go ahead and bend at the knees. And again, try and keep the back side on the floor as it is. Let's extend the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. Does the back side still feel even? Taking the fingers to interlace behind your right thigh here, or using a strap to bring the leg a little closer. With the breath here, on an exhale, go ahead and pull the right leg in toward your chest, and then inhale, let it go a little bit. So just an in and out, and as much as we're stretching our hamstring, we're focusing on the backside being even on the floor. So if you feel yourself kind of rounding up just to get the leg up there and your butt lifts up off the floor, forget that. That's not the point. Right? Keeping the backside in this really neutral position and just sort of see where the leg will go. Maybe you're just happy to have the legs straight. And then take another big breath. Bringing the leg back into a neutral position. So that may be up toward the ceiling. It may not quite be up toward the ceiling. You may want to bend your knee a little bit. So just listening to your body, keeping the backside doing what it's doing. So let's extend the left arm out to the left and imagine gluing that arm to the floor, that arm all the way up to the shoulder. Support the outside of your right leg with your right hand, wherever that is, whether it's up on your calf or maybe down toward your thigh, whatever. Dropping the right leg out to the right, keeping it in line with your hip. So again, if you have to have a little bend, that's fine. The idea again is to keep the back side level on the floor. So let the leg be heavy in your hand and just hold the leg up with the arm, the right arm. Does your left hip feel as heavy as your right? Bring that leg back to center and then release it. So working the second side, same idea. Check in that your spine feels neutral first and then extend the left leg. Keeping again the back side even on the floor. Use a strap or just grab behind the leg. And that same idea, exhaling as you pull the leg in a little bit, see where everything starts to go haywire. Working one more breath over here. And then finding that neutral position. Right arm out to the right, glue it to the floor. Supporting the leg with the left hand as you drop it out to the left. Hold it up with the left hand. Right hip as heavy as the left. Yes. And then on an inhale back to center and release it. So let's draw both knees into the chest, give it a little rock. Squeezing the knees into the chest, we'll take our shins vertical. Wrapping up for the soles of the feet, you can absolutely just grab the backs of the thighs. The idea is to pull the knees down toward the armpits. Kind of. So wiggle into it a little bit. Find your center. Pull down evenly on the feet, kick the feet back into the hands, and see if you can try and find that more neutral spine on the floor. Maybe that makes you chuckle a little bit. Most of us feel a little round back there at this stage. We'll take one more breath, push and pull, and then release it. We'll open the arms back up into our T position. We're taking this final twist here. So again, if you just want to flop the knees to the right, go ahead. If you want to shift the hips to the left and then the knees to the right, cross the legs, leave them bent, take them straight, look over the left shoulder. Remember, you can add tons of things here, making it right for what your body needs right at this moment. Just a couple more breaths over on this side. So if you want to change something up, feel free. And then gently making your way back up to center. Whatever variation you did on this first side, go ahead and work that way toward the second side. Or that way on the second side. And again, if you need to add, change something up. Listening to the body always. And you've got a couple more breaths over on this side. And make our way back up to the middle. So when you're back to center here, go ahead and draw those knees into the chest one more time. Squeeze them in, bringing the forehead toward your knees. And then extending that out into a full body stretch. Release your stretch and let your arms come down by your sides. Making yourself comfortable here, whether that's fully extended on the floor, feet flat, soles of the feet together, seated meditation, legs up the wall. Find where your body wants to be. And then settle in. Staying with the breath, but releasing control.
Staying present, releasing any random thought that wanders in. So the mind stays quiet and you to rest. So in a deep cleansing breath. And then on. Wiggle fingers and toes. Allowing your body to move and stretch. And then you're going to take the feet flat to the floor. Slowly make your way back up to seated. Taking your time. Keeping the mind quiet. Bring the palms to touch. And balancing everything. Namaste. Yay. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have questions or comments or suggestions or things that you want to work on. I'm thinking of doing a back bending class next week. Like I said, we've got the 5-day, 15-minute challenge coming up, and that beginner series, of course, as well. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next weekend. Bye.